Alright, so I'm doing Caleb's event section next. Let's do the mate first.
Aren't I already under Enforcer surveillance? We're the only ones here. Do you still want to pretend we're strangers? Someone just asked about our relationship. What do you think my response should be?
Married.
I mean, I was playing.
Once this is all over, we can go back to our old home. Together. If you're going to give me a pat down, you might as well do a thorough inspection.
My gosh.
I see. You'd rather get to know me this way.
You need to stop.
Why are you standing so far away? Do I scare you?
Truth serum.
You don't need to go through all these theatrics. I'll answer any question you ask.
What's your most closely guarded secret?
It's a secret we both share. We wrote letters to each other's future selves and put them in a time capsule.
Oh.
Then, you asked me to hide it in a place no one would ever know.
That's your most closely guarded secret?
Yep. After all, I buried the time capsule in the deepest mine shaft in the Southern District.
What would you do if I was in your custody? Oh god.
I would probably do the exact same thing you're doing to me right now.
You want... oh my god. You want to lock me up? He does.
I do. I'll imprison you in a place that's only for us. I'll stay by your side just like when we were kids. And I'll come to you whenever you call my name.
I can't.
What surprise do you have for me this time?
This is the predator snare.
I guess it's a more dangerous kind of mischief.
I didn't expect to see you make that expression. Do you like the scent?
You really are something. Aren't you curious about what I'm smelling? Or do you already know the answer?
Command relay. Oh no. Caleb, can you try being cute for me? What the heck?
Oh, I see. So this is what you've been plotting.
He doesn't have to try, he already is.
If you want to see me be cute, fine. But I'll need your help. Come closer.
What are you?
This is my way of being cute.
No, I didn't get to read it. It went by too quick. What are you? Ow, why are you pinching my cheeks?
This is my way of being cute.
You always do this though.
When it comes down to it, being cute is about wanting attention. Wouldn't you say I accomplished my goal?
Illusion mask.
This is...
You look stunned. What did you see?
4 adorable little shadows. One is missing a tooth but is still eating an apple. Another is holding up a toy gun. One is telling me not to interfere with her investigation. And the last one is asking me what I see.
Why does this sound familiar? Are you talking about me?
These are the different versions of you throughout the years, to be exact. So could this be considered a biographical documentary?
Psychological test. Oh gosh. I don't know if this is a good idea. The gloomy personality score on your psychological assessment greatly exceeds the threshold for what's considered safe. Why did you have to take this test?
Don't worry about it. At a glance, it appears to be a psychological assessment, but it's actually a criminal psychological assessment.
Doesn't that mean you're even more dangerous?
What? You don't trust me anymore? Just because someone gets a high score doesn't mean they're a criminal. It could be someone who created the test from the mindset of a criminal.
Are you saying you're a dangerous person?
You don't seem to be frightened, though. Aren't you worried that someone whom you spend every day with might be an irredeemable, wicked person?
Does that mean you're going to hurt me?
Of course not. My life's purpose is to keep you safe.
Okay.
Did I walk right into your trap?
Okay, let's start his chapters. Let's start with the prologue. As the door to the interrogation room closes, sounds from the outside world are silenced. Good evening, Mr. Councilman. The soft clink of chains disturbs the quietness as Caleb lifts his head. His gaze meets mine. This famous councilman of the Northern District maintains his composure even when he's restrained to a chair. And when he sees me, a faint smile appears on his face. I guess you're settling in quite nicely.
It's an interesting experience, I'll give it that.
I take a seat at the table, open the file before me, and read the charges against him out loud. Allegedly, of course you gotta say the allegedly. Councilman Caleb from the Northern District is suspected of bribing LCBI officials. He intends to interfere with the LCBI's standard protocols. As such, an arrest warrant and investigation have been conducted. How will you respond to these charges? Instead of answering my question, he crosses his legs and shifts into a more comfortable position. With unhurried composure, he looks at me.
Before I answer your question, Miss Enforcer, I have a personal conundrum that must be addressed. I hope you can help me clarify the situation.
Go on.
As far as I'm aware, the LCBI needs to undergo a rather complex process to obtain an arrest warrant for a councilman. I'm curious. I wonder who would use such a method. All for the sake of detaining me, no less.
Even though it's presented as an inquiry, his gaze is fixated on me. He already knows the answer. I lower my voice and lean in toward his ear. If you knew it was me, then why did you willingly comply?
Did it ever occur to you that I complied because I knew it was you?
So Caleb, how will you respond to these charges? Caleb doesn't say a word as he meets my gaze again. Then he sighs as if he's finally conceding.
You accuse me of bribery. Are you referring to the evening of the day before yesterday? A certain enforcer invited me to visit her home for a private discussion.
Well, Mr. Caleb, you will be detained on suspicion of obstructing the LCBI. Once the formalities are complete, I can't hold myself back anymore. I reach for the wall and switch off the listening device. This is an interrogation room, not your living room. You could at least try to hide a relationship, Mr. Councilman.
So, your goal was to actually lock me up?
At least you're safe here. The fact that Caleb is a triple S class predator is a secret only known to him and me. Recently, Caleb attended a banquet, and someone deliberately released a large amount of forensic enhancer spray to cause chaos. Although the incident was quickly contained, reports accusing Caleb of being a predator flooded the internet. Whoever the mastermind is has been planning this for a while. They're trying to create a scandal and force you out of office. Regardless of their plans, they can't touch you while you're under the LCBI's protection, for now at least.
In other words, you'll keep me here until the public outcry dies down.
Do you have a problem with that?
Not really. I'll just treat this as a vacation that I don't often get. Besides, our lovely enforcer wouldn't have the heart to leave me all by myself, right?
I pretend I didn't see the mischievous glint in his eyes and clear my throat. Given your unique position, it wouldn't be appropriate for you to remain within the LCBI building indefinitely. I slide a document across the table for Caleb to see. I touch the control panel and the restraints around Caleb's body instantly clatter to the ground. Shortly after your identity was exposed, there was a series of predator attacks across the Northern District. The traces of frenzy enhancer we found at those crime scenes matched the frenzy enhancer spray from the banquet. Our investigation revealed that all these frenzied predators were spotted near an abandoned building in the Southern District at some point. Considering how you lived in both the Northern and Southern District, I made a request on your behalf. You'll be acting as a special consultant. You'll be assisting me with this investigation. However, you must remain within my line of sight at all times for this assignment. You can't leave without my approval either. Worried he might not cooperate, I quickly add to my statement. You already pleaded guilty. You don't have the option to refuse.
I could never say no to your requests anyway.
After discussing our options, Caleb and I decide to investigate the abandoned building. We climb the steps of the facility only to find our path blocked by a locked iron gate at the entrance. That's weird. This place has been abandoned for years. Why would someone go out of their way to block the entrance?
There's not a speck of dust on the lock. Someone's been here recently. Looks like we're on the right track.
We hit a dead end, though. Do you have any bright ideas, my special consultant? I poke Caleb and encourage him to come up with a plan. Caleb gently pats my outstretched hand before turning his attention to our surroundings.
You throw your weight around the moment we're out of the LCBI's jurisdiction, huh? You're a smart cookie, Miss Enforcer.
Since I have you in the palm of my hand, I should make the most out of this opportunity.
Ah, so it's like that. I see.
Suddenly, Caleb leans in close. His face is very close to mine. What are you? Under his amused gaze, I hold my breath. My heart starts racing before I know it.
What do you think I'm gonna do?
Caleb, you. Before I can finish, he gently pinches my nose. Don't do that. Still smiling, Caleb pulls his hand back.
I haven't seen your nose get scrunched up like that before. My curiosity got the best of me. Whoops.
We're done playing around. Thanks to Caleb's suggestion, we make our way around to the side of the building. In an unassuming corner, I spot a small, easily overlooked window. I stand on my tiptoes and try to gauge the distance between me and it. We need to find something to stand on first. Caleb, we should... Caleb? I turn around, but Caleb has vanished without a trace. The music. I look up toward the source of the sound and see Caleb leaning in out of the window. With his chin propped up on his hand, he mischievously smiles at me.
Need a lift?
How did you even get up there?
What? We haven't seen each other in forever, so you forgot what I'm capable of? Are you ready? I'll bring you up now.
Caleb makes a slight gesture with his hand. In the blink of an eye, I'm floating in midair.
Give me your hand.
With the window close to me, I lift my foot. I'm ready to climb over the frame. I can do it myself, yet I soon find myself suddenly drifting away from the window. Caleb, how old do you think you are?
I'm pretty sure I'm old enough to sweep you off your feet, Pipsqueak.
I nimbly climb through the window. With Caleb's steady hand supporting me, I smoothly land inside the building's corridor. Desolation unfolds before us with overturned office chairs, papers strewn across the floor, and withered potted plants. Caleb and I are in what appears to be a medication room, complete with clutter and dirty vials. We comb through the mess. Hopefully something was left behind so we can use it as a clue.
Usage report, anti-laughter capsules.
Standing before an old, rust-covered filing cabinet, Caleb plucks a dusty folder from the depths of the drawer. Intrigued, I take a closer look. Treatment for uncontrollable fits of laughter or episodes of inappropriate mirth in solitude. Directions: take orally with water. 1 dose reduces laughter, 2 doses completely suppress it. The report we read said this place used to be a secret research facility owned by Ever. I guess finding something like this is to be expected. But it was shut down decades ago because of an incident. If I'm not mistaken, I access the LCBI's database on my device and look up information related to the company.
It was closed down after the authorities discovered the illegal experiments in non-compliant drug manufacturing.
How do you know that?
I was the one who approved the proposal for its assets to be seized.
It seems Ever was particularly interested in this company. They even sent people to contact Caleb privately. It was probably an attempt to illegally influence him via unofficial channels. Judging by the state of this place, he must have resisted their advances. Well done. I strain my posture and give him a thumbs up.
Or they didn't know which buttons to push.
Caleb seems unperturbed by our conversation. He pulls out an old, worn mechanical box from under the workbench and carefully examines it. I suspect they're the people who leaked your status as a predator.
The chances of that being the case have definitely increased.
Caleb pulls out a slightly chipped vial from the box. I approach him, but a familiar scent hits my nose before I'm even near him. This smells like the frenzy enhancer we found at the last place we investigated. Caleb and I exchange looks. It seems Ever has dark secrets. We brought the frenzy enhancer vial back to HQ for analysis. It didn't take long for me to get the report. I haul a pile of equipment up to the top floor of the watchtower. It's time to plan my next move with Caleb. Caleb, open the door. The watchtower stands as the tallest structure in the Southern District. It's also where Caleb and I spent our childhood together. Since Caleb's current residence isn't safe right now, this place has once again become our sanctuary. My sanctuary. I hear footsteps from inside the room. The door swings open to reveal Caleb wearing comfortable loungewear. Caleb relieves me of my equipment and steps aside. He ushers me into the room.
I'm guessing you dug up some leads. What did you find?
Someone's been releasing large quantities of frenzy enhancer onto the Southern District's black market. As I speak, I sit on the sofa and sweat out everything I brought. The LCBI can't exactly waltz right in, so we haven't been able to identify the seller. Caleb approaches me with a plate of freshly washed strawberries. Yay! I love fruit. I eat fruit like every day. Anyways, he notices how the table is covered with the materials I laid out. With a resigned smile, he has no choice but to sit next to me. He's holding the plate.
You're going undercover to continue your investigation in the black market, then?
I applaud his deduction. Caleb, you know me so well.
You're too kind. But on a more serious note, you're not actually gonna bring all this stuff with you, right?
Caleb swings over the equipment before zeroing in on a roll of duct tape. He picks it up and raises an eyebrow as he looks at me.
So, how exactly did you plan to use this?
If we catch someone, we can interrogate them on the spot. Then again, I turn to Caleb. When handling difficult people is involved, you're more experienced with this than I am, Mr. Councilman.
Well, I'd say my field of expertise is in negotiations rather than interrogations.
My curiosity is piqued. Will you share some of your negotiation tips with me?
Do you actually want to learn a thing or two?
Yeah. I nod. Smiling, he pats the spot next to him on the sofa. I scoot closer. Caleb places the plate of strawberries on my lap. He gestures for me to snack while we talk.
Let's see. For most people, you need to build trust first. They gotta feel comfortable enough to open up. For more difficult cases, you might have to up the ante and steer the conversation. The easiest way to get the truth out of someone involves guiding them into a situation that's already in your favor.
I absent-mindedly pick up a strawberry and bite into it. I'm still confused. Can you give me an example? Instead of explicitly answering my question, Caleb taps the plate in my hand.
Before that, why don't we discuss the strawberries you've been stealing?
Stealing? You put it in my lap. What are you talking about? Stealing, you're the one who... I trail off. Caleb never said I could eat the strawberries. He just used gestures and subtle cues to guide me into doing it. Oh.
Do you understand how it works now? You guide someone into a misunderstanding so they make a mistake. It'll be a situation you planned ahead of time. After that, you need to question them. When confronted, most people will try to defend themselves. Under these circumstances, Even a nudge can make them tell the truth.
Caleb looks at me with a faint smile. So that's how it works.
However,
Caleb's tone shifts and mischief creeps into his voice.
sometimes an obvious trap is a cover for your real objective.
When I give him a puzzled look, the corners of his mouth curl into a grin.
For instance, these strawberries will go bad in a few days. I needed someone to help me finish them.
You're blatantly deceiving an enforcer. Just so you know, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you could. And you're blatantly deceiving an enforcer. Just so you know, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Caleb chuckles at my full indignation. He stands up.
Alrighty then. Caleb's class is dismissed.
He is caught off guard when I pull him back. He falls into the sofa and I place my hands on either side of his head and lean down. I have a trick up my sleeve too. I hold a strawberry to his lips. This is how I get people to be my accomplice. Caleb's eyes slightly widen. He's surprised by my counterattack. I press the strawberry against his lips and a trail of pink juice trickles down. At that moment, I became aware of the warm, racing heartbeat near my hand. It dawns on me belatedly that we're so close, our breaths are mingling. I try to pull back, but he grasps my oh not that. I almost said lips. He grasps my wrist. Not yet, not yet. Caleb slightly turns his head and bites the strawberry.
Now, we're accomplices.
That was so cute. Okay. I thought tracking down the suspect who sold the frenzy enhancer would be challenging. To my surprise, Caleb revealed that he already knew the suspect's whereabouts before we entered the black market. I thought you stayed in the watchtower. Where did you get this intel from? Caleb and I are posing as customers in front of a black market stall. We're keeping an eye on the rundown pharmacy across the street.
There are plenty of ways to gather intel on someone. And sure, I might not be able to show my face in public, but that doesn't mean I'm cut off from the world.
Turning his head slightly to the side, Caleb lowers his voice as he speaks. If you ever need a job, come to the LCBI. We could use someone with your talents.
Does that mean you'll be looking out for me from now on?
Heads up, our target is within our line of sight. Across the street, the elusive drug dealer mentioned in our intel reports has made his appearance. There are too many people here. We need to find a way to get him into a more secluded area. I'm about to discuss our strategy when Caleb raises his hand. The man is yanked into a nearby dark alley as if an invisible force pulled him there.
Didn't you need to ask that guy a few questions? Why are you just standing there?
After interrogation, we learn that this drug dealer is not the true mastermind. He's merely hired by someone else. His job is to receive the goods and deliver the frenzy enhancer to specific locations so they can be sold. He knows nothing else. Caleb, you did so well. Caleb, you did so well as a baddie. Why did they use... Okay. Why'd they use baddie like that? You were menacing. We didn't even get to use any of our interrogation tools, but he still told us everything. As we walk out of the alley, I can't help but marvel at how Caleb was a villain to another villain.
You're pretty good at intimidation yourself. Doesn't that mean you're my partner in crime?
Caleb quirks an eyebrow and leans in. He pretends to scrutinize me.
But you weren't scared as far as I'm aware. In fact, you seem to be enjoying yourself as you played along.
His warm breath gently stirs the hair near my forehead. I did it for the intel, besides. Noticing my quickened heartbeat, I gently push him away. I hope it doesn't reveal how flustered I am. I'm not eager to be your partner in crime. Oh! Well, I am. At midnight, Caleb and I once again sneak into the abandoned building. According to the drug dealer, Ever is scheduled to meet him here for a business transaction tonight. Caleb and I decided to arrive at the location and set up a stakeout. Ding ding ding, we arrived at our destination. Passengers may now disembark. Since Caleb is carrying me on his back, I tap his arm. It's time to put me down. That's cute. Caleb can't help but chuckle.
You're getting better at utilizing my ability. It's like second nature to you now.
It's not my fault, it's so useful. It's hard not to borrow it. I expected him to tease me, but to my surprise, Caleb nods with an exaggerated seriousness.
In that case, I should thank myself.
When I give him a puzzled look, the corners of his mouth curl into a grin.
There's another reason for a certain busy enforcer to think about me.
I know he's messing around, yet I sense sincerity behind his words. Not this again. You're a goober. I can't. Even if I didn't have that reason, I could never forget you. Caleb pauses for a moment, then I hear a soft laugh.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad the hallway is pitch black. You can't see the heat rising to my face and ears. The business transaction will take place in a laboratory at the end of the hallway. I scan my surroundings and memorize the layout. We don't know how many people they'll bring. Let's assess the situation once they arrive and go from there. Hazy moonlight streams in through the lab's broken windows. An ethereal glow is cast on the room. As I pass by a glass chamber meant for observation, I stop in my tracks.
What is it?
Caleb follows my gaze and he sees our reflection in the glass. Two figures are almost leaning on each other. I can't help but move closer to Caleb. I use my hand to compare our heights. The height difference wasn't as big when we were kids. I guess we changed quite a bit since we went our separate ways.
Really? I feel like we're still the same.
Caleb tilts his head to the side.
Aren't you still the girl who always looks for me when she wants to reach higher ground?
Come on, I don't...
I wonder, who was it that always loved to climb to the top of the watchtower again? It was so she could watch the sunset as a kid, but she couldn't do it herself. She had to ask me for help. And then...
I try to cover his mouth in an attempt to stop him from talking about my embarrassing moments. But Caleb catches my wrist.
Are you trying to destroy the evidence?
Before I can protest, Caleb hugs me. Calm down, calm down. Why did he? His familiar scent envelops me. Before I can ask him what he's doing, Caleb's voice caresses my ear.
Shh. We have company.
Caleb brings me to a dark corner of the room. We hide behind a filing cabinet. 3 figures appear at the far end of the corridor. Caleb and I exchange glances and understand what we want to convey. Once the figures are inside the laboratory, Caleb raises his hand. The door slams shut behind them. Oh, there's just the ending left. Oh, we didn't even... What? I thought we were gonna see, like, the conflict. They really just skipped it? Dang it. Our interrogation revealed that these drug dealers were following Ever's orders. They flooded the black market with potent frenzy enhancers. Their true objective was to incite chaos and panic. Then they would exploit the situation to take control of the city. And as we suspected, the info about Caleb being a triple S class predator was also leaked by Ever. After we returned, Caleb and I went back to work. It took several months for everything to calm down. Waiting for Caleb to clock out, I sit on a bench near the flower beds of City Hall.
My best friend is cooler.
Nuh-uh, my best friend is cooler.
My best friend is brave enough to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. He can do it by himself, too.
My best friend is brave enough to eat cockroaches.
Oh, what the?
Well, my best friend eats more cockroaches than yours. He can eat 20 in one go.
The 2 children who are arguing nonstop in front of me turn to look at me.
Miss, whose best friend do you think is the coolest?
I don't know them. You're asking me? I look up from my device. The screen shows the latest update about a recent investigation into Ever. Wearing a crisp uniform, Caleb stands at the podium to address the public. The political party he leads is drafting several policies to prevent and reduce predator attacks on civilians. Everything seems to be moving in a positive direction. I think Before I can finish my sentence, I notice a familiar figure walking out of the building. Caleb spots me immediately. Despite looking somewhat surprised, he makes his way through the crowd. He stops in front of me.
It's freezing. Why did you come all this way to see me?
You always pick me up. Am I not allowed to do the same thing? He takes my cold hands and does his best to warm them.
It's all I could ever ask for. What were you talking about with these kids?
We're
deciding whose best friend is the coolest.
Caleb turns to look at me.
What do you think?
I'm not sure, but it's definitely not mine.
Really? What makes you say that?
He's either playing hide and seek or playing pretend. He keeps secrets from me, and I pretend to be annoyed, and he gently flicks my forehead. I cover my forehead. I'm ready to complain, but I'm stunned by Caleb's gaze. It twinkles with mirth.
You're so young, but you already have a list of grudges. Okay, let's go home. We'll address these grievances one by one, and I won't try to defend myself. Promise.
I grab the hand he used to flick my forehead and playfully stuff it into my jacket pocket. I'll temporarily confiscate the weapon used in your attack then. The holiday is approaching, and the trees lining the street are already adorned with heart-shaped colored lights. Having just finished a dangerous assignment, I'm confronted with this peaceful scenery. The light snowfall has stopped, and we silently agreed not to drive home. Instead, we walk around aimlessly along the main street. Our unspoken rapport guides our steps. Caleb's palm is warm. I wish we could always hold hands and walk like this forever. Do you remember my favorite game from when I was little? Despite my random question, Caleb seems to understand what I'm trying to say.
Are you talking about how I used my ability to play with the leaves in autumn? I'd make a shower of leaves just for you.
Oh. Back then, the Southern District was actually dangerous and derelict. But Caleb was always there by my side, so I fondly recall those memories. It was easy to be happy when we were kids. Eating candy, watching the sunset, or even playing with the pile of leaves. Just about anything could bring joy. As I reminisce, I can't help but laugh. Come to think of it, all the things that ever made me happy were connected to you somehow.
And now?
It's the same. He stops in his tracks and turns to face me.
Does the Caleb standing before you still bring you the same joy as before? Does the Caleb standing before you still bring you the same joy as before?
Yes. The golden hues of the setting sun reflect in his eyes. They highlight the tenderness in his gaze. I nod without any hesitation. What about you, Caleb?
For me,
A gust of wind sweeps past us. In the glow of the setting sun, silver frost falls from the branches to create a shower of glittering light. At this moment, it feels like there's no safer place in the world than right here, between us. Caleb looks at our shadows leaning against each other.
what makes me happy has never changed.
Embraced by a warm, sweet feeling, my heart melts like a marshmallow. I smile. As night quietly falls, the colorful street lights come to life. Their radiance is seemingly endless, as if they're illuminating the boundless path ahead. Oh my god. I loved that.
I see. You'd rather get to know me this way.
That was fun. Okay, I'm gonna do Raphael's next.